I read a book recently called Zone to Win by Jeffrey Moore. In this book, he outlines 4 zones, and he promotes organizing your business and strategies around each one of these 4 zones. And he says that each zone should be managed very differently than each other. And he outlines their strengths, their weaknesses, and their processes, and the things that you need to emphasize in each one of these zones. I am not going to cover that. You can read the book for that, or you can look at many YouTube videos that cover that. I just wanted to share what I learned from the book and the central point that I took away from it. The central theory is that if you run an enterprise business, you are constantly either being disrupted or you're disrupting somebody else. For instance, if you're Uber, you are disrupting the cab companies. Or if you're a digital camera company, you are being disrupted by Apple when they put a great camera in everyone's pocket. Similar to playing offense and defense in football, either you are disrupting, playing offense, or you're being disrupted, playing defense in football, you are currently playing a game against your competitors, and you had better know which side you're on because they require different strategies, different leadership, and a different mindset. And sometimes you're playing both at the same time. You are disrupting somebody else's business while another party is disrupting your business. And sometimes you are even disrupting yourself. You have a great business with customers and money and cash flow and employees, but you see it as vulnerable, and so you choose to spin up something to disrupt it before somebody externally can disrupt it and take your business away. This is critically important to understand because disruption is increasing in frequency and velocity. It's coming more often and it's coming faster at you. You could say we live in a constant state of disruption, and the enterprise companies that thrive are the ones that hyper-compete, that stay flexible and vigilant, and the people that don't, the enterprise companies that don't, will be piled on the ash heap of history. So if we divide up being disrupted into one side and disrupting other companies on the other side, there are some notable differences. Both have different types of risk. If you're being disrupted, you risk losing an important part of your business, and that is scary. If you're disrupting, you don't have a business. You don't have customers, you don't have employees, you don't have processes, you don't have procedures. You're spinning up something brand new, and you're trying to do it quick because the clock is ticking and you want to beat anybody else to the market because if he who arrives first usually wins. So we're trying to get there quick, right? You need to launch that product quick. So both require different types of management. If you're being disrupted, you want to focus on the balance sheet, on processes, on efficiencies, on building good rules, on communication and things like that. If you're disrupting, you want to stay flexible and agile. You want to listen to all ideas. You want to conduct meetings that might seem like a little bit of mayhem. You want to collect as many ideas as you can and pivot and act and be flexible. I call that the plunge the toilet theory of management, which means if you want to see a well-led, agile company, it's the CEO who's not afraid to grab a plunger and fix a broken toilet because it's just all hands on deck. You're trying to be as quick and as powerful as you possibly can. For a disrupted business, process is king. For a disrupting business, quick acting is king. Enterprise companies often make the mistake of burdening the disrupting part of your business with the bureaucracy and the process of an established business, meaning you have a business unit who's trying to rush to market and make their mark, and yet you've got 50 years of rules that you're trying to make that side of the business follow. Security rules and marketing rules and review rules and everything that the other side of the business uses to mitigate risk. Well, when you're disrupting, you're purposely taking on the risk. You don't want to avoid the risk, and you want to enter the market fast, and you don't want to be burdened with all of these rules. Mr. Moore says that most initiatives fail because of this reason. Now, a quick note about disrupting yourself. That is, you've got a commodity business and you're trying to, threaten it before somebody else does, right? Well, this is a really scary time because you have a lot of people invested in your old way of doing business. You might have 50 years of history where you have companies that have built products around your way of doing business. Those are partner companies. You have employees that might have been there for 30 years and they're resistant to change. You might have customers that have been doing business with you for a really long time and they like to know what to expect. Jeffrey Moore says, never ask a business unit to disrupt itself. The cab companies would never have built Uber on their own because they had a vested interest in keeping that system in place, even with all of its flaws. They had learned to exploit all of the flaws, so they wouldn't want Uber coming along and disrupting them. So it's important that if you are an enterprise and you have a business unit that's vulnerable, that you spin up a different unit with different leadership to cause the disruption. The leaders that you have on one side are not going to be good at the other side. It's impossible to find leaders that are really good at both. It's very, very difficult. There are a few, but it's very, very difficult. In summary, if you're leading an enterprise during disrupting events like COVID, AI, climate change, generational upheaval, things like that, or just new products coming out in the market all the time, I think you'll find a lot of value in Zone to Win. And I would love it if you read it. It only takes a few hours to read, and share with me what you learned from it down in the comments below. Thanks.